Thank you for listening to The Path to Purpose, which airs Sundays at 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern, and 4 p.m. Pacific. Listen to the show only on the Resilient Christian Radio.
This is not a time to go off.
Tell us a little bit more about this book and tell us, how did you come to write it?
Well. My husband and I were high school sweethearts, and we met in, I was in the 10th grade. He was about to graduate. And we met, fell madly in love with one another, and we just thought we were going to be on this 50-year journey to love and happiness and joy and all this. We really were planners. We planned out every aspect of our lives. And when we met, probably a month or two after we met, we just started planning, how many kids we wanted to have and where we wanted to live and all these great things. And we eventually got married about 10 years after we met, because we were in high school and then we went to college together. And then finally marriage came up on the horizon, so we married. And, literally, best courtship, best marriage. Everything was amazing. And then it was time to have kids. We were following this plan that we'd written out. Now, as you guys can hear, I haven't mentioned God once in this love, plan, marriage, and beautiful life, because we're Christians and we always we believed in God and we consulted Him. We figured we'd consult God when we needed Him, but at this point everything was going as we had written down and planned, so we didn't need to consult Him. Everything was how it was supposed to be. And it was time to have our twins. We have 11-year-old twins right now. And when it was time to have the talk about having kids, we had the talk. We planned when we were going to have them. We planned the pregnancy, when we were going to get pregnant, the date, the month that we wanted to have them, because he had to get back to work. It was crazy. We sound like crazy people. But everything was going as planned, so we figured, why, what we don't need to do anything differently. Until the birth of our twins, then I think I got a little nudge from God that He said, enough of your planning. I'm done with you guys thinking that you guys are making all of this happen. And from that point on, it was kind of, everything went downhill. And people may say, well, why do you say God did that? My husband and I we planned out our future. We wanted a certain amount of money. We wanted to live in a certain type of place, a different, certain state. We wanted this type of life. And I think God, I know he just watched this kind of unfold. And finally he said, and people followed us. People thought we had this great marriage and this great relationship and we were the best of friends, and we were. So we thought. And then when the babies were born, a lot of the cracks in our relationship that we hadn't dealt with, that we just kind of planned over, started to be exposed. And people ask all the time, do you blame the babies, the kids, for the divorce? Honestly, we are grateful for them. They are the reason that we were able to address a lot of our issues, because had they not arrived, we would have never dealt with a lot of the issues. We would have never gotten a divorce, and we probably would have gotten a divorce later down the road, and it probably would have never been restored. So we actually attribute them to saving our marriage. But so the reason the book came about is after we were married, the twins came, the divorce happened. We signed those papers and sent them in, and they were returned back to us in our individual homes, and it finally said, you are officially divorced and your maiden name has been restored. That's what it was for me. And we both said we cried like babies when those papers came, and we realized that we had just made the biggest mistake because of pride, and because things weren't going the way that we thought they should go. We decided to get a divorce. And after the divorce and those papers came in the mail, my husband said to me, standing in his kitchen and I was in mine, that he was going to do everything he needed to do to get his family back. So at that point, after the divorce, we started working on our marriage and our relationship. I know it sounds so crazy. People ask, do you advocate divorce so that people can restore their marriage? Not at all. The purpose of the book is to inform people of the mistakes and the things that we endured and the things that we went through, so that people don't have to go through what we went through, in order to understand how important marriage is and covenant is, and family is, so they don't make the same mistakes that we did. So that's kind of hence the title, How My Divorce Saved My Marriage. Had not been for our divorce, we probably would not be married again. And had not been for the birth of our twins, that was, we planned the pregnancy. We didn't plan 2 babies. And I think that was God's way of saying enough of the planning. I'm about to take you through something, and I'm not going to let you guys falter. I'm going to hold you up, but I need people to see you go through this and then me come in and restore it. So that's kind of how the book came to be.
So all of this literally is Proverbs 19:21. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevails. Yeah. And it sounds to me like God literally came in and shook up this little nest. This little nest that you guys have built for yourself. Have you heard of the analogy of the mother eagle?
No.
Have you heard of that? Okay, so the mother eagle, she'll build a nest for her young. And as they get older, like she literally starts rattling up the nest, and she starts pushing them out. So as they get bigger and bigger and they can't fit, she's stacking, whatever it is that she uses for her nest. I'm not a eagle expert, but I'm assuming it's leaves and twigs and stuff. So she pushes them out. So it kind of sounds like God stirred up this little nest that you guys had, this fairy tale fantasy life that you built for yourself. And he said, okay, now I'm going to turn this thing upside down, and you're going to do it my way. Is that kind of what happened?
That's exactly. Oh my gosh, Char, I got chills on me listening to you explain that. He protected us and guarded us and took care of us the whole time. And we thought we were doing it, but he was covering us from, I guess, arguments and fights and whatever was going on, in-laws, whatever was happening around us, because we experienced a lot of that stuff, but we came out unscathed. That was him covering us the whole time. Great job, great career, providing food, providing money, providing, ways out of situations. And when he got to the point where he said, okay, enough, you guys have, the thing is, people were watching us and complimenting us on how great our relationship was. Not one time did we say, to God be the glory. This thing is hard, but God is the third wheel, and it's not one time. It was like, oh, thank you. We playing. Thank you. This is what you do. This is what you get when you plan like us. We were taking credit for this, and God said, okay, done. I got enough people following you. And this wasn't even about us. We realized this divorce and remarriage and the dark place that we went through, it wasn't even about us. It was about somebody else coming behind us, thinking that this is the way that you marry and have a perfect marriage, and he needed to reach those people. He needed to break us down. We were like the it couple in our little small town in Alabama. People literally from high school to college to we moved to Atlanta. We got these great jobs. People used to say, "Oh my God, have you seen Herman and April? Their house? I mean, their jobs that we were inviting people to our home to celebrate a promotion. I mean, it was just this big fake fairy tale, not real. In our minds it was real, but God was actually setting us up. And once all these people thought how great we were, God said, okay, I'm going to rip this apart, but I'm gonna restore it. I just need y'all to hold on, but I need to do this, because it's not about you, April and Herman. It's about these other people that are watching y'all, that you guys have not given credit to me for any of this. And so the book, I speak ridiculously about God and how he did step in and intervene, but this book is not just about Christianity. Any Muslim or atheist or anybody, no matter your faith, can get restoration and healing from what our experiences and what we went through, what God taught us and showed us. It's basically healing. It's healing, and we do know in the book, if your divorce is not saved, if that that is not what God wants, if that's not the will of God, you be healed, your husband be healed. That's the underlying tone of the book. He saved us, he healed us, and the perk was, I'm giving you your marriage back. I'll give you your family back. That was a perk. The point was to heal us and deliver us and have us tell people what God did. But he said, I'm gonna throw a little sprinkle on the top, and I'm gonna give you your marriage back, so people can see that I restored it, not you. So yeah, it was that analogy put chills on me. You are so right. That's exactly what he did. He said, now you're out here. Now go. I've protected you. I've taken care of you. Now it's your turn. And we failed miserably, and we had to call back on God. Okay, we had to call God, and he stepped in, and he did everything, and then gave us back 100-fold than what we even expected. So we are so grateful.
Gotcha. So I hear you saying that your book is for believers and non-believers. So it's really for everyone who has experienced marriage or is wanting to be married, and it's not for a certain group of people. However, you do give God all the credit and all the glory for putting what you and your husband, back together.
Yes, absolutely. When I started writing this book, I didn't want it to be just a Christian book or just for Christian folks, because everybody deals with issues in their marriages, right? Everybody goes through this. I don't care what your faith is or what your national or ethnic background is. Everybody who lives and breathes, and no man is an island. You're married, you're in a relationship, you're dating, you deal with hurt and pain and pulling away. And divorce is honestly like a death. It's honestly like a death. Nobody experiences death differently. It's like a pulling away of something in your life. So this book is, I purposely wanted, and I mentioned in the book that you don't have to be a Christian. We are, and we give God the glory for restoring our marriage, but you don't have to be a Christian to benefit from this book and the experiences that we went through, because hurt is hurt, pain is pain, divorce is divorce, death is death, and that all of those things we felt going through our divorce. And everybody, if you're human and you breathe and you so much as like another person, you don't necessarily have to be married, you can learn from this book. I had a young woman who's not even married. I spoke at a conference, and she came up to me and she said, she was about 23 or something, and she said, I thank you so much for this book, because, people won't tell you the truth about marriage. And you speak a lot of truth. It's not always beautiful every day. It's not always, God wakes you and you're singing these hymns to your husband. It's not like that every day. She said, I needed to hear that. Like, I needed to hear that to prepare myself for marriage. I don't want to go into it with this fairy tale like I did, like me and my husband did, with this fairy tale, way of what life is going to be as a married couple. People need to hear the truth. And that's kind of what I do in this book. I mean, my husband and I wrote it, but he okayed every page just to make sure everything was on the up and up. But so that's kind of how we feel. I mean, even after the divorce, we're not this perfect couple. Even though we went through something as devastating as a divorce, we don't speak divorce anymore in our house. We have coping. We went through a lot of counseling and a lot of prayer. So we know how to deal with, situations that arise in our relationship now, but we still argue. We still disagree. We still, have our moments of, oh, I don't like him today. Oh, I can't stand her today. But we love each other, and we are fighting for this marriage every single day. I don't care how, many Facebook posts you see, people go, being with this person is lovely every day. And I'm sure it is, but honestly, it's a fight every day. You have more good days than bad, definitely. But, you have to learn how to deal with another person and their issues and you have to learn how to talk. I talk about a lot of things that we learn through counseling, like, for example, the gift of touch. When we do have a disagreement, my husband is not usually the one to apologize first, but I could touch him on his shoulder, and he melts like butter. He melts like butter. So after the disagreement, I can just go to him and just touch his shoulder, or I call it in the chapter, it's called the gift of touch. He melts, and he says, and I can say, I'm sorry for, my part in this, and he'll go, no, it's my fault. All he needs me to do is come over and touch him. To him.
Check us out at Facebook at RCR Network, and also on Twitter at RCR_network, and our website at rcrnetwork.com.